Good afternoon, Yasmin. How are you doing today, and where do I find you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm in Woodbridge, Virginia, kind of holed up in my house still.
Were you born in Woodbridge?
I was born in Arlington, which is pretty close, a few miles north.
But you've lived in Woodbridge most of your life?
Since middle school, yeah.
How quarantined have you been since the virus started? And have you been involved in any of the public protests following the murder of George Floyd?
Yeah, I did go to a couple protests in DC, which actually kind of helped a lot to process what was going on. But I've been in quarantine pretty much since March. I've had a few outdoor gigs and have one coming up. But yeah, it's been live stream after live stream, basically, nonstop.
I was introduced to your music by my dear old friend, David Spellman, who runs a fantastic New York Guitar Festival.
Yes.
He and Brendan Canty, another old friend of mine, recently did a few very beautiful videos of you playing your guitar in a park in DC. And I'm wondering, have you ever listened to Brendan's band, Fugazi?
Of course, yeah. And his newer band, The Aesthetics, another favorite of mine. I'm a big fan. It was pretty crazy meeting him.
Can you talk a little bit about your new album that's coming out this fall?
Yeah, so actually it's probably going to come out later, a few months after, since COVID is kind of shutting down a lot of vinyl plants. I have to wait a little longer to get the vinyls out. But yeah, it's definitely inspired by the political events that have happened this year, last year. Yeah, mainly last year and this year, and also by nature. Kind of a weird combination, but I basically wanted to make an album that was peaceful, relaxing, but also thought-provoking. That's kind of how I've been feeling, or trying to feel, throughout this year, especially with everything going on.
I would say that most of the music of yours that I've listened to is peaceful.
Yeah,
relaxing.
It's a theme. Thank you.
Are there any new musical directions that you're pursuing on the new record?
Oh, definitely. So I taught myself how to play the kora. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a West African instrument. It's kind of like a harp. Kind of, not really. And that's 21 strings. It's pretty complicated, but it's super fun. I use that on a couple tracks on the new album. And I brought in a cellist and a drummer. And yeah, definitely new directions. Have
you read any particularly good books since you've been quarantining?
Yes. So my favorite one is definitely Kindred by Octavia Butler. I really don't know how to describe that, but have you read it?
I have indeed.
Yeah,
a master.
I don't know how to describe that book, but I read it in one sitting, and I've never read a book in one sitting before. It's really great. It's definitely thrilling, keeps you on your toes, action-packed, amazing writing, amazing imagery, just incredible, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, we lost Octavia Butler far too young.
Exactly, I definitely agree with that.
She's one of the best ever as far as I'm concerned. And it's interesting because she's called a science fiction writer, but sometimes I think that those words science fiction scare people away from her work.
It does. I'm kind of late to the game. I wanted to read her stuff for a while now, but I'm not really a science fiction fan, so I thought I wouldn't really be too interested, but I was wrong.
When you were in high school, what kind of music did most of the other kids listen to?
Ooh, that's a cool question. So the high school I went to was pretty artsy. It was a performing arts school, or had a performing arts program in the school. So we were kind of all over the place. But most of the kids seemed to listen to pop, just typical, I don't know, soft rock or pop music. Whatever was pop at the time, I don't even remember. But yeah, I didn't really listen to that. My interests were all over the place.
What were some of your interests?
I listened to metal, a lot of metal at the time. Kind of more obscure indie rock. Definitely hip hop still. That's what I grew up with. Jazz also. But yeah, hard rock, Nirvana, Them Crooked Vultures was my favorite band at the time. And other stuff, shoegaze, everything, punk.
So your hometown of Woodbridge, Virginia is about 25 miles south of DC. And I understand that when you were growing up, and maybe now, your father had a lot of go-go music cassettes.
Oh gosh, yeah, he converted them into CDs now, so at least they're not cassettes. But, yeah, he definitely still has that collection.
Do you personally have any favorite go-go bands?
Probably, I really like CCB. Rare Essence has to be, or either Chuck Brown Band, probably my favorites. But CCB is probably my favorite, more modern go-go band.
Your music is definitely not go-go music.
It's not, but I did play in a go-go band. Fun
You
fact.
did?
Yeah, I did. It was really fun. I played guitar. It was cool. Definitely not like my solo music.
But do we hear some go-go rhythms or go-go inspired rhythms with your left hand on some of your...
I think so. Yeah, I do try to definitely use syncopation, stuff like that. It's prevalent in go-go. And also I'm trying to figure out how to use my 2-tap shoes to create certain go-go rhythms.
If it hadn't been for the video game Guitar Hero 2, would you still be primarily a clarinet player?
Oh gosh. I've never been asked that. That's so... no. I played clarinet. I've played clarinet from maybe 3rd grade or 4th grade to college. So it was a long time. But no, I just didn't think I was good enough, really. I wasn't bad at all, but, you know, clarinetist, you have to be just beyond. And I'm not that.
So can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Guitar Hero 2?
Yeah, so that's sparked my interest in guitar and rock music, too. I really loved how the game had so many different genres. I mean, it had AC/DC and then other genres like metal and death metal and just some other types of songs. Those were just really cool instrumental songs too. And just playing the game, like, I don't know if you've ever played, but you have to tap the buttons and do all of that. And that's what really got me into tapping specifically. I first started on electric guitar, also inspired by the game. But I couldn't really figure out how to tap successfully, I guess, on that. Like, you know, people tap the regular way, like horizontally. I couldn't ever really figure that out. Like, the game has a lot of tapping sections in it. And yeah, that's why I kind of switched to acoustic guitar. It's a lot easier for me to tap, especially using the lap tapping technique, I guess.
Can you name 2 of your favorite old-time guitar players?
I would say Jimi Hendrix is still up there, and a new one, I really like Elizabeth Cotton's repertoire. She's an older folky kind of player. The technique she uses to play guitar and banjo are super incredible, so I'm inspired by her a lot.
All right, now we have a special treat for our viewers so that they can truly understand the brilliance and genius of your music. Here is a video of your song Juvenescence from your upcoming album as recorded by David Spellman and Brendan Canty for the New York Guitar Festival.